Last of Us 2.
Finally.
And you're now moved on to New Game Plus.
Yes.
I'm curious to hear like what your overall feedback or your overall experience of the game was. Like, do you feel like the story delivered in a way that like, you know, the way like Naughty Dog was sort of building it up?
Spoilers.
I actually posted a meme to Facebook the other day that I thought perfectly captured what happened, what my thoughts of the inciting incident of this game. And again, spoiler, they kill off Joel. And ever since they showed that clip of Ellie being forced to the ground and going, please stop, there were either two possibilities. It was that friend of hers named Dina, and right before the game came out, I had this bad feeling. I was like, maybe it's Joel. And the Facebook meme I posted was Dwight from The Office going like, will I get over it? No, but life goes on. And that's kind of how I feel. So I'm kind of disappointed that they went that direction, but I understand why they do it. And I appreciate that they stuck to their guns and just said, you know what, we're going to do this. And that's what good writers should do. They should pull up all the shocking stops that they can. My only disappointment in it is that the Joel and Ellie relationship was such a huge part of The Last of Us, like that game. And you wanted to see that get developed. Once they took Joel away, I don't want to say the story wasn't important, but it didn't feel like the story had as much impact as it should have had. Because you wanted, the first game to me had better story beats than the second game. It just had it had better character developing moments. It had more moments that you just felt good about. It's just, like I said, it's just harder to be excited about this game's story because that character you were really excited to see the expansion of is now gone. Somebody pointed out that the name of the series is The Last of Us. It's not Joel and Ellie.
How early in the game does that happen? Is it like relatively pretty early?
Yeah, most of the game takes place.
So you have that sort of like that really just has an effect on your experience the rest of the way.
You play as Ellie for about halfway through the game, and then halfway through, you switch characters, and you play as a character named Abby, who's part of a different group, and Abby is the one who killed Joel.
Okay.
So you have to play as Joel's killer.
You have to feel kind of like I don't know, kind of like almost dirty playing that character.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I have to play as the bitch who killed Joel? Abby starts off as a member of the WLF, but then she meets a few members of this other group who are not really in the same like line of thinking as the other members of the group. And basically she has to go on a series of adventures to save them. So basically she ends up caring for the group of people she thought were her enemies. She's supposed to be like a mirror of Ellie, where the reason Abby kills Joel, and this is probably what I thought was the best part of the story. When you were Joel at the end of the first game, you had to bust into the operating room to save Ellie. Well, to get to her, there's a doctor standing in your way holding a knife. And he's like, no, she can save all of humanity. I won't let you. You kill that doctor. That doctor was Abby's father.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how they worked that's why she wanted to kill Joel. So then Ellie spends the whole game wanting to kill Abby. And then Abby, goes through her adventure of the game, and throughout the course of it, Ellie ends up killing all of Abby's friends. Like all the characters that Abby knows and that you interact with as her. So then, obviously, they ultimately clash. You actually play as Abby fighting Ellie.
Huh.
Yeah,
okay.
And at that point, I felt at that point, I got kind of pissed off because I'm like, okay, I get it. We're supposed to sympathize with her, but why am I still playing as her? Basically, both her and Abby end up escaping from that group. They end up fighting. Because Abby had somebody she has to save, a kid who I think was named Lev. who was one of that religious group, but he was like this little kid, almost like a
Mhm.
Joel Ellie type relationship. They're supposed to
Sure.
be mirrors of each other.
Sure.
And I think the story is going for breaking the cycle of revenge, because Ellie tracks her down and like almost has her beat to the point of almost drowning her, but then lets her go. So
Okay.
I think the idea is that the more they keep tracking each other down for revenge, the more it's just going to keep hurting everybody around them. You know, like
Mhm.
Abby lost her father, hunted down Joel out of revenge, and by doing that, she led to the series of events that led to Ellie hunting Abby down and killing all of Abby's friends in the process.
Right. From the outside looking in, all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, they're making it sounds like they're making Ellie come across as being like the worst of the two, almost like they're building her up. She like you're saying she kills all these people, and then you come around to eventually sympathize with
Right.
the the girl who kills
Right.
Joel, and she has like all these like redemptive moments leading up
A
to like
little bit.
that final
Yeah.
confrontation.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so so like trying to build like this sort of like inner conflict like with the person playing the game,
Basically, yeah.
like very
Absolutely.
very mixed
Mm-hmm.
emotions.
You do kind of settle into like understanding who she is, and that's why I say it's about breaking that cycle of violence. If they do make it Last of Us Part 3, and Neil Druckmann has said that that is a possibility, he hasn't decided if they're going to do a Part 3 or come up with a new IP as the next idea, but that
Mhm.
means that it's definitely in the realm of possibilities. I think the way they should expand the next game is give you a dog companion. A
I
dog.
mean,
I don't know how
I,
that would work 100% through the game, but
well,
I don't know. It'd be
honestly,
cool.
I think it would be kind of neat though, because since if part two ends with Ellie sort of being on her own, it would make sense to
Mhm.
give her like an animal as a companion.
I think it would. I think it would expand the gameplay a lot, because I think that dog could do great things. He could like discover resources that maybe you wouldn't see without him. Maybe he could like detect an enemy before you would see them and stuff like that. He could somewhat help you out in combat. They do have a few dogs in this game, but they don't really do anything like that. Like there are some fun segments where you can actually play fetch with a dog in the game, and
Hmm.
it's really cute
I mean,
and
I
really
don't think it would
adorable.
be entirely outlandish for it just to be something as simple as her finding a stray dog.
Yeah.
I mean, because for anybody who's played like Fallout 4, obviously completely different experience from
Right.
The Last of Us, but your character like very early on, you're just out in the wasteland walking around, and you come
Hmm.
across a stray dog
Right.
who you just sort of build this connection with, and you can make that dog one of your companions to follow you around and
Yeah.
fight super mutants and as outlandish as it might sound.
Right.
um but I think that could work pretty well if like while Ellie's like
Hmm.
I'm presuming like if the third game was her trying to track down her girlfriend, you know
Oh, I didn't even
um
think about that. That might be an option.
you know
Maybe.
like because you said what her girlfriend left,
Right,
right, was gone.
because she didn't want Ellie to go after
Right.
the girl, and
So if
Ellie did
so
anyway.
so like if you just think that, oh, like maybe we'll just you know continue Ellie's story, and she's trying, like, maybe again she could just, I mean, you don't necessarily have to see it, but she could always just start off like the third chapter,
Yeah.
sort of like part 3, with the dog, and it's just a dog that
Hmm.
she found
Yeah.
while traveling or
And I
whatever, and that
and
she
I think
befriended.
they should. I think that would be a nice natural evolution to the gameplay. I do think there were some. I mean, maybe it was the mode I was playing on. I was playing on hard mode. There were some times where the companions are still good, but like the first game had more moments of like, oh my god, Ellie did all that all just by herself, without any input from the player. Like that's cool. Like
Mhm.
there aren't as many moments in this game. Maybe that's because technology has come so far, and now AI
Mhm.
companions in games just do so much now. Maybe that's not as impressive as it was before.
Mhm.
But like I don't know, they're just like The Last of Us. The first game had more lasting moments, but I will say, ever since I stopped playing, I still haven't stopped thinking about this game. So The gameplay itself, I think, is definitely an improvement from the first game. Like all the details, it's a visually stunning game. The combat is brutal, and the combat's so much fun. Especially when you have those moments where like you manage to throw a Molotov at somebody and you stab somebody else, but then you run and you get out of sight, and then you manage to sneak out of the area before you get caught or killed. Like that makes you feel so cool because it's like it feels like an action movie. Overall, I think it's a great expansion to the series. I really do. I am very now that I finished the game, I was just kind of sitting there like, well, now what do I do with my life? Because it's this big emotional it's this big emotional investment into a game, and I waited, I mean, I didn't pick up the game when it first came out. I think I played it in like 2014, 15, but it's like it's been a few years of waiting for this game, and like I'll play a part 3. Like I'll play a part 3, especially if it's on especially on PS5, especially what they can do with that engine and that SSD. I like I said, I think it's a great game. I think if you like the first game, you should play it. And obviously, I mean, we just spoiled it for everybody who hasn't played it yet. But I mean, it is a good game, and yeah, I mean, it was worth it.
Yeah.